But think of dream experience. In your dream, we are led into a state of illusion. Dream subject is not you. Dream world is not real. The interacting experience, pleasure and pain, is not real. And yet, everything of the dream world is yourself. Birds flying in the air, flowers blossoming in the garden, all wonderful things, even roaches. You. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita in chapter 5, verse number 8. The topic is Sannyasa Yoga, which means an insight is being given to you in relation to two paths, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga emphasizes the need of doing action. Your focus is how are you doing, with what attitude you are doing, how much you are doing, how qualitatively you are doing, and while doing, how much you are not doing. That's climax of Karma Yoga. While doing the best, inwardly, I do nothing. I'm just an instrument in divine hand. That's Karma Yoga. Sannyasa, you adopt it in the very early stage of this movement. You move away from all your swajans, relatives, friends. You go to an ashram, get initiated into sannyasa. I'm using the orthodox plan. And then your focus is on practicing shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Shravana, listening to the teachings. Manana, reflecting upon it. All the teachings you listen to, the essence of the teachings is Brahma Satyam Jaganam Mithya. Brahman alone is real. The world is illusory. Until then, you keep your ears preserved. Making a joke out of it. The idea is that the purpose of listening. All this is Brahman. Listening is followed by reflection. Shravana, listen. And it leads you to elevate your mind, build up positive impressions. Just like the first step, when you want to nourish yourself, eat food. Second stage, chew it. With cows, it's easier, chewing the cud. Try to adopt that method. In satsanga, you listen to so many things. Fill in your throat with all those. At home, at other times, bring out a little bit. When will you chew it? That will be at your disposal. It's like chewing the cud. Third stage, nididhyasana. Mind that has become well nourished with light. Cloud that has become nourished with rays of the sun. That cloud is not interested in holding on to darkness, obscurity. That cloud becomes transparent. That leading your mind to that transparency state, that means you are not only just chewing the cud, but you have now assimilated it in your spirit. Because your mind is made up of samskaras, all the different impressions. Your impressions are rajasic, tamasic. It becomes like a cloud that obscures the sun, that veils the light of the self. But when you do manana profoundly, then your cloud within you is penetrated by the rays of light. Each time you bring to your mind sorrowful thoughts bring negative impressions. Negative impressions create a dark cloud. But if you are listening to satsanga and reflecting upon it, as you start assimilating it, instead of allowing a negative movement to enter like a dark cloud, we are allowing a positive movement. And whatever cloud is there sitting in you, it begins to be touched by light. In other words, by the study of Gita or similar scriptures, what is known as Swadhyaya, you develop a special art. Watch your mind. Your mind is building up negative thoughts of depression, sorrow. Try to bring to your mind spiritual nourishment. What have you learned? Scriptures go on telling you, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the senses. So don't be focused on your body, mind, senses. You are essentially, I am that am I. You are essentially Brahman. Therefore, when ego brings in negative impressions to your mind, creates a situation of building negative impressions, your study, your thoughtfulness, your sadhana opposes it. And in spite of the challenging situations, in spite of the situations that bring so much darkness, negativity or stress, in spite of that, you entertain a positive view. God is with me. All this will pass away. All this has a purpose. And when they pass away, I will know the purpose. The very same adversities, when you face them, it makes you feel most miserable, helpless, degrading. When you face them with sustained effort, with faith, and you emerge successful, like the moon coming out of a dark cloud, shining brighter than before. Then you look back to the dark cloud, adios. And with a great joy that you have made me shine brighter. Friends, divine angels. Adversity is not deep down misery. You are being handled by God's plan. If you are sensitive and there is touch of divine love, now God like a mother, helps the child not according to child's ego, but helps the child in a way the child becomes stronger, brighter, more really enriched internal. But when the mother begins to do that, child doesn't like it. They could have been born elsewhere. But when the child succeeds, then he writes his memoir. My mother had not been like that. I wouldn't be such a great personality as I am. Learn lessons from these examples. View all adversity in the same light. How can God be cruel to the soul who is boundless love? He is urging every soul to become liberated. Even though you are very joyous and prosperous, God is watching because that's not real goal of yours. All your prosperity, all your happiness and vanity, that's not your goal. Only when mother's heart becomes a little stiff and says, who cares? Let these souls go. But God's heart is not like that. That explains the miseries in the world. These are profound things we have to reflect upon. Not take it literally. Misery is never highlighted or glorified. But there is a purpose behind it. How you handle it. When you handle it properly, you realize you were never taken away from God's care and love. So this is what Karma Yoga enables you ultimately to reach that state. And I was talking about sannyasa. You enter into the ashram and focus your mind on listening, reflection, meditation. As you become deeply involved, another point is given in Indian tradition, that while doing that, there is always work to be done by you in the form of Guru Seva. What will please the Guru? In an ideal setup, if you are able to bring Guru's teachings to others. Again, when we say Guru's teachings, it is not one person's teachings. Guru's teachings are the teachings of universal religion. If that is not so, then it is not Guru's teachings. The teaching that leads you to God realization. Teachings that are not to satisfy somebody's ego. What I'm leading you to understand, that even if you have taken sannyasa, the idea you have nothing to do now, only focus on meditation. The scripture says, not. You have to do job under Guru's care, as Guru Seva. And sometimes in ashrams, disciples do much more than they could have done as a grihastha. So in other words, though you are pursuing the path of not doing, and yet you become involved in doing lots of things. In Karma Yoga, though you are pursuing the path of doing lots of things, and yet inwardly becoming sannyasi, not doing nothing at all. I'm just a puppet. And God is moving me along. So let me recite the shlokas. Chapter 5, verse number 8. Naivam kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapan swashan pralapad visrijan grihinan minvannapi indriyarteshu vartanta isi dharayam. Two of the verses, they are completely close together. Perfected in yoga. Your yoga means karma yoga. If you are practicing yoga with success, practice of karma yoga implies, just to reiterate certain points. First point, look into your heart and feel out what type of job suits you best. Do not be guided by your ego, but guided by a profounder view of yourself. What will lead me to real success, close to God? The simple mantra behind it, the type of work that pleases your heart in a profounder way, even though it involves strenuous effort, involves struggle, fight, I'm not talking about physical fight, mystical, and yet it's pleasing. Every young one of a bird struggles to be free from the egg. That's a fight. But a fight that pleases. It makes it vigorous. It touches upon its profounder instinct to become a bird, fly. What type of work is there with you that will make you from egg state, flying bird state? The answer to that question is, if your attention is on Chitta Shuddhi, works that you do, if they are making you feel joyous. Now, joyous term again is abstract. Making you feel humble. Because when you are literally, really joyous, you don't go on stretching your head. I'm joking. The idea is we are truly healthy. Your body manages itself in the right way. In other words, if you are truly joyous, you do not develop vanity, ego about it. How much I'm doing and how much I'm receiving payment. Let me explode. Let me create a revolution. Give me more payment, more salary, and I work. No salary, no work. The fact is, if you are doing real karma yoga, that idea will not arise. Because you love your work more than anything in the world. Follows natural. But all that I'm saying in detail, don't get too confused. Another point to understand, whichever way God has placed you in your life, you don't have to change. Simply try to bring into it an attitude that how fortunate am I that God has given me this type of job. Let me please Him by handling the job. Job will allow me to utilize my potential energy and to receive divine grace. A job well done with the spirit of worship, with the spirit of connecting yourself with God, then that becomes karma yoga. The result is your focus is on purity of heart. And purity of heart gives you immense thrill. Possessing a heart, they're not constantly pinched by worries and anxieties, not constantly sizzled by animosity and jealousy, not constantly drenched by mud and filth of moha. Human heart is an amazing thing. All these things are there. Mud, fire, mosquitoes, a heart filled with all that. And outwardly, great attainments. That's not karma yoga. Real karma yoga, see that your heart becomes free from all this mud, filth, mosquitoes, implying all the malas, gross impurities, anger, greed, hate, vanity, and simplicity of the heart, joy of innocence, childlike purity. A heart that is bringing you closer to God. A sniff of divine flame comes to your heart, like beautiful breeze comes into a forest. Poetic description, Shitalamand Sugandh, cool, gentle, fragrant. Can your heart receive a breeze from eternity that cools all your sorrows, gently whispers into your ears the best of tweets ever heard? And enables you to allow the fragrance to be wafted, to become a flower. It's so much fragrance, you can't handle it. It just goes out automatically, all over. If you find your heart shaping itself in that direction, it's called purity of heart, Chitta Shuddhi. If you are acquiring Chitta Shuddhi, external action and your success is guaranteed. Only you are not focused on it. You are focused from a practical point of view, but your heart is not focused on it. All external forms of success will run to you if your heart is moving towards purification and drawing God within your heart. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. The same statement is made by Jesus. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. All else is added. The whole world and all its attainments are all else. Now, that purity of heart, perfected in yoga with a pure heart. Another point in karma yoga, having control over body and mastery over senses. Allow your body to be well trained by principles of hatha yoga. I'm putting your mind to a very practical level. The great teachers will not be talking about it. But what is most practical, that your physical body constantly takes away your mental energy. You cannot really advance on the spiritual path. Therefore, sages have given focus on how to control your prana, vital forces, how to harmonize your breathing so that pranas, the vital forces in you, become harmonized. As the vital forces harmonize, the mind is led to develop serenity. Other way around, if you allow your mind to be calm as a result of understanding of spirituality, immediately your pranas, vital forces, will tend to be harmonized. Even your breathing will become more harmonious. So it goes both ways. Attending on your body, giving it a proper exercise, and attending on your senses and on your mind. Exercise your mind. Control your senses. Build up good health. This becomes your basis for real spiritual movement. If you have all this, you have tables and chairs lined up. Now you can do nothing else, sit down and explore the inner dimension. I'm not advocating sitting down. I'm using allegorical terms. As a result of this, he beholds the self in all beings. It's one single simple line. Beholds the self in all beings. In order to understand it, volumes have to be studied. And follow now the rationality about it. What is dearest, sweetest, most loving for you in the entire universe? Figure out the answer. You. For the sake of self, all becomes dear. The loving sentiment of the mind tries to fulfill that feeling, to find something to love that is boundless, and to be loved again in a boundless manner. Find that loving whom you have attained the highest objective of love, and loved by whom you have attained again the highest fulfillment of the inner urge, always looking for being loved. The answer, I am. Now therefore, open your mind to the understanding the I am in you is not confined to your body and mind. It operates through your body and mind. The energy operates through your cell phones, but not confined to your cell phones. Someone talking to you by your cell phone, you can't stare your eyes and actually look into the person. Yes, you can see the picture. In other words, the self that is operating through you, the self that is most lovable for you, the self that is the only thing important, that self is not limited to your body. Therefore, understand that self is in every individual, not more or less, full. And if you were to develop that feeling, try to understand, even in a family, there are 10, 12 people, and if you have a feeling of unity with them, how joyous it feels. Dramatize. If you could have that type of heart that feels unity with all, completely transcending the popular view. Popular view are some people are terrorists, some people are stupid, Buddhus, simpletons, some are miserable wretches. How can we have a heart for all? But surprise, deep down, unless you realize that potentiality, sarve bhavantu sukhina, allow your heart to utter this statement, may all be happy, with the same intensity as a mother turns to a child. May my child feel happy, healed. With the same intensity and with profounder sweetness, if your heart can become involved with that type of wish. But while you are building up that inner wish, external field of your life moves towards how can you be compassionate in practice? How can you be humble in a practical world? How can you face difficult personalities, adapt and adjust without losing the inner feeling that God within? That becomes your challenge. That's what we mean by He beholds the self in all beings. People who are not well initiated into these studies, they develop the idea, if I do a lot of sadhana, and one day it will happen. I'll open my eyes and see Shiva in that person, Krishna in that person. I'll see this divine self everywhere. But that's just imagination. The real seeing God in others is to develop that profound insight. The entire universe is your family. More than that, the very self within you, that source of great love, is the reality in every heart. So as much you love your own self so much, with mind that is enlightened, that love is not limited to your body, not limited to your personality. It's for all. Seems like difficult to handle. But think of dream experience. In your dream, you are led into a state of illusion. Dream subject is not you. Dream world is not real. The interacting experience, pleasure and pain, is not real. And yet, everything of the dream world is yourself. Birds flying in the air, flowers blossoming in the garden, all wonderful things, even roaches. You. And it's not something that you have to believe. You wake up, ask yourself, what was the reality of all things that you experienced? Your own consciousness. Likewise, if you begin to love the self and realize the self is the universal self, begin to wake up. The world of multiplicity is a world of dream, long dream, under the umbrella of Maya. When you become enlightened, You don't hold that limited mind. Enlightened mind, all is I am, Prajnanam Brahma. All this is pure awareness. And that's the teaching given by Guru, disciple. Tattvamasi, thou art that. That puts his finger up, but it simply means the reality within you, transcending your mind, intellect. When disciple hears it properly, then he meditates upon, not on the statement, Tattvamasi, thou art that. He meditates upon Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Until he has a full-fledged experience. This self is the absolute. Ayam Atma Brahman. This very self within me that seems to have been the cause of all your troubles, driving you from embodiment to embodiment. This very self that your mind has looked down upon and said, what a miserable soul am I. That very self is the absolute consciousness. The entire world reflects in it. That's just a reflection. The whole world and all its glory, alpam, little, shining with the splendor of the self. At this rate, I can't go any further. So this is my interpretation of he beholds the self in all beings. Otherwise, you'll be just working on your eyes. Put more drops. Such a says is untouched by karmas. Karmas, actions, their results, and all about karmas are in the realm of prakriti. Prakriti, another way, simpler term, maya. The magical power of Brahman. As long as you are deluded by the magical power, all this seems to be real. And led by ignorance, everyone believes that if I succeed in a particular action, I'm going to be much better. If I am not happy, it is because I have not accomplished something like building up a house, having a good place to live in, and having attained popularity to a certain degree, and that's why I'm not successful. But that is not so. All these are in the realm of prakriti, maya. You can have lots of it, and you will never be perfected. But it doesn't matter how much you have all of this. If you start having divine qualities within yourself, love of God, a sense of being sustained by God, therefore not allowing the mind to be ruled by or driven by fear and anxiety and sorrow. In other words, if you are living a life of Chitta Shuddhi, purity of heart, then you have gone beyond all karmas. Karmas are in the realm of Prakriti. Soul stripped of karmas, this liberated soul. If you have attained this state of liberation, even though you continue performing karmas, you are absolutely not involved. God performs, now in a figurative way, all things that happen in the universe Even things that happen millions of light years away, they are all performed by God. That God is absolutely untouched. Let me give you a simpler illustration. All the clouds gather in the sky. All the dance and roaring and thunder, they all happen in the sky. And that sky, giving room to all clouds, lovingly welcoming them all, that sky is untouched by it. Nothing to do with it. Live in this world, giving room to all practical realities. Success, failure, joy, sorrow, gain, loss, up and down, health, sickness, rush, unrush. Allow all this to happen in a natural way. And be your natural self. I am this God. Because I am that, not this. But all this does not happen in one moment. A progressive movement. If you are able to deal with even just a few items that give your mind so much tension and sorrow, if you are able to diminish your hatred towards others, if you can postpone your angry reaction for the third day, you are invoking that God. And if you continue, there comes a time that your movement becomes beyond your control. God's magnetic pull pulls you up. An act of grace joins your self-effort. Therefore, spiritual aspirant should not have a mathematical estimation of his progress. There's so much negative karmas I have destroyed. Let me ask the astrologers how many more karmas. And then develops despair. Already I'm beyond 60. I'm bound to enter the next month. By doing that, you are ridiculing your intellect. Your intellect should tell you God is almighty. By just opening his eyes and closing it, he can bring about the entire creation and dissolution. With that God in your heart, how can you go on calculating your spiritual movement on the basis of a kindergarten mathematics? Understand the immense power of divine love, immense power of surrender to God, Sharanagati. But that Sharanagati has to come to you by degrees. Always understand, highest things are not just a matter of words. So having heard it, from tomorrow, I am absolutely surrendered to God. I believe in him. I surrender to him. He alone is real. I am merged in. Then you write to me email. How is it? I did all that. You see. Figure out the answer. And with this I will conclude. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.